Do we offer lock and glue tummy tuck? So this is, looks like we've got two questions in the lock and glue arena. This is related to Cece, my colleague, Cece, who has a clinic round the corner, Cece Cat, who has sort of popularized this lock and glue. I don't do it personally. I don't use glue for tummy tucks. Glue has been around for quite a while, and the concept is to kind of close down the space that is there when you do a tummy tuck. So when you do a tummy tuck, there's a space because you have to undermine all the way up to the xiphisternum in order to pull the tissue down. So there's a big space there. So that space could potentially fill with fluid in terms of seroma. That's kind of like the worry of a tummy tuck. That's one of the kind of risks of a tummy tuck, and so you want to kind of close down that space. The way initially what I used to do is suction drains, and this is what the glue has kind of it's become popular because you don't use suction drains if you're going to use the glue, so the glue will stick down the surfaces, so it avoids drains, which means that people don't like drains basically, and potentially you could do it as a day case, things like that. So there are benefits in doing the glue. And in order to do the glue, because you have to hold the glue in place, it's a bit like if you've got like a china pot, you know, and you've broken the handle and you glue it, you have to kind of put elastic band around it because you have to hold it in place for the glue to set. Because if it moves, then if it moves a little bit, then it's gone. Then you can't kind of put it back, the glue. So you kind of have to hold it in place. So because you have to hold it in place, when you do a tummy tuck, there's usually a lot of stitching to stitch the lower incision, and so the lock thing is using a locking suture, which is a barbed suture, which will just go over and over, which will close that much more quickly than doing the usual technique of doing lots of interrupted sutures, because that would take too long. You wouldn't be able to hold that skin flap down while doing all those interrupted sutures. So that's why the sort of locking suture goes in hand with the glue. Yeah, and personally, I don't use it because I haven't really used the locking suture much. I'm not a massive fan of the locking suture personally. It's quite difficult to use, and I guess there must be a learning curve. I haven't really embraced it because you can't go back once you put a stitch in. You can't go back and do it again. So you have to kind of pretty much know what you're doing. It does, no question, make the operation a lot quicker. I also worry about coughing. So I think I'm answering the second question here. So do we offer lock and glue tummy tuck? No, we don't, because I use drains. I use suction drains, and I know people don't want drains, but I do. I still use drains, but I also use quilting stitches to sort of close down that space.